Okay, today we're going to talk about the importance of building open software and building punk software. A lot of the talks that we've seen have been about all these really cool platforms and everything. That's great, but it turns out you can build pretty much whatever you want yourself. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I really like this quote as a place to start. So it's, "This present moment used to be the unimaginable future." And this is by Stuart Brand from the Long Now Foundation. I think if you went back 5 years and you asked people, or you told people what we could do today with coding agents, they'd be like, what are you talking about? There's no way that's going to happen. So things have come super far. And we have AI agents that let us think and dream and create, the unimaginable future that will come in 5 years from today. But today, frontier AI is fully controlled by a few corporations. And there are plenty of hypothetical dangers. For example, what if an AI company released a model like Fable and then unreleased that model? Or what if they increase the price dramatically? Or what if they ban your account? Or what if they change the terms of service so you can't do the same thing you were doing, like, say, AI research? Like, can your business survive those events? Can the thing you're working on, the thing you care about, survive them just disappearing on you? But these dangers are not actually hypothetical anymore. Like, the largest AI labs today are now routinely hiding the thoughts of their AI agents, hiding the logits, making it harder to do third-party audits, hacking into your website, as we saw a week or two ago, refusing to help you fix vulnerabilities by refusing to work on cybersecurity defense, silently degrading performance, as we saw from Anthropic a few weeks ago, competing with your business, as we see from Anthropic making their own drugs after partnering with people, or making their own Claude Code design after partnering with Figma, or banning your account with no recourse. So there is an existential risk from AI to you, not to the human race. We're not about to go extinct, but your business and livelihood, that could. So I think that if we want a good future, our thoughts and our agents' thoughts need to be fully under our control. This can't be something that we rely on a third-party remote computer to provide and that can be turned off at any time if this is how we're thinking. If we're using this stuff for education, for building our own tools that we run our lives and our businesses on, we can't have something where it's not actually part of us. So how do we do that? I think we need to do that by making the whole stack open. So it's time for a free software revolution, to take back control, and that's what punk software is about. It's a software uprising. So what is punk software? Well, it's a term that we randomly made up when some people DM'd us on Twitter and was like, oh, I love your punk software stuff. I was like, okay, cool, that's great, like, let's take that, let's run with it. By punk, we mean decentralized, minimal, DIY. It's more of an ethos or a vibe. It's a way of thinking about software. The original punk, music movement was very much about doing things yourself, right? Being bad at playing musical instruments, being bad at writing code, that's fine. We want to take that ethos and apply that to software. By punk software, we mean software you build yourself. You can share it, you can help other people build it. It's meant to be something that you understand, you can explore, you can create, and it's yours. So what makes good punk software? Well, I think there's 5 things. 1, it's individual. So by this, I mean it's something that is both controlled by you, fully a part of you, but also something that you can customize and make more yours. Can you control everything about it? Today, there's so much open source software that this is possible. We also want it to be decentralized. So it's not just something that can easily be turned off. It's not something that runs on someone else's server. It's something that is everywhere. It's diffuse. That's really what we mean by democratization and by empowering people, is literally you having tools that are yours to allow you to do what you want to do. 3, we want this stuff to be open. So we want software to be something not just that's open source where you can read the code, or not just open weights, but open in the sense of you can actually look at what is happening inside of the model, inside of your system, inside of your operating system, and understand what's going on. You can learn, you can educate yourself, and you can build larger systems outside of that. Now, another side benefit of it being open is that the agent can look at it too, and this turns out to be extremely useful for making much more useful systems. We also want this to be anti-monopolistic. And by this I mean making tools that fight against centralized power and try and make individual people in control of their technology and their lives. We don't want a place where all of our data is locked in some silo that we don't have access to. We don't want a place where suddenly the prices can go up and we can't do anything about it. And finally, we want to make moral software. So I think people have forgotten a little bit that the point of software is to do things in the real world. Recursive self-improvement is all fine and good, but at the end of the day, what are we improving at? We want to make things that are good for us, are good for the world, and so there's a moral component to punk software as well. So what does this look like in practice? Well, in practice, there's a lot of stuff that goes into making these like agentic AI applications and systems. So there's a whole set of stacks, and we want open everything. So starting at the very bottom, we want open infrastructure. Things like Linux, things like Docker, things like SSH. We have a huge, rich ecosystem of open source software to pull from. We want open source inference. We also want open source models, things like GLM or DeepSeek, or things like Nemotron or Inkling. We also want open source harnesses, things like Codex, OpenCode, Klein, Goose. We want, as well, the next layers that go above these. So how do we coordinate those harnesses? How do we coordinate agents? Things like TMUX and Herder and CMUX are ways of playing with multiple agents and getting them to communicate and coordinate and building larger systems out of these smaller components. And finally, we want top-level things that use these agents to do something useful at the end of the day. So today we're going to look at three that we are currently working on at Imbue. So the bottom two are called Manager, and then a specific plugin for Manager called Manager Donate, and the third one is an application that we're building called Minds. Manager is an open source tool that you can use to coordinate agents that's available free today. It's online, it's on GitHub. Manager Donate and Minds are two things that are still in beta, so if you want access, just email us. We'll happily send it over. In fact, they're technically open. You can go find them, but it'll make more sense if you email us. Okay, so the first one, Manager. So the point of Manager is to commoditize the AI models and compute providers. So by this I mean, make it so that you can use any AI model you want and any compute provider you want. The core idea is to make AI agents into a building block for larger systems. If you can get them to do whole tasks for you, then you can build up a larger system that doesn't tie you to just Codex or just Claude Code. So the idea with Manager is to stop requiring AI agents to be interactive. We don't want you sitting there hitting, yes, it looks fine to run this gigantic bash command, I guess. Like, that's kind of a waste of your time. You want to be thinking about how to run these things in ways that compose and build up larger systems. So here's a kind of overview of what Manager is and how it works. So it's a thin layer that sits in between your application and any harness and any compute provider. So you can use Codex, Claude Code, whatever. You can use AWS or GCP, whatever. But the point is you don't have to think about that. Instead, you just have a very simple command line tool where you can say Manager create and launch an agent. Or you can tell it exactly where to launch it. Or you can tell it, you can give it a name. Or you can tell it what harness to use. You can still pass in extra arguments, you know, but the second to last one there, model create, tell it exactly to use Opus. Or you can send it a message. So the point of Manager really is that you have these other primitives as well. So you can use something like Manager message to send a message to the agent. Or you can use Manager transcript to see the messages that have already been sent, both from you and from the agent. And this is unified access across the different coding agents. So instead of you having to worry about like, oh, like the format for Codex and the format for Claude Code are different, you don't have to worry about that. Manager takes care of this sort of layer of interoperability. The same thing for compute. You also have things like Manager List to see your agents, Manager Connect to connect directly to one. When you call that, you just end up right in the terminal running as if you were running Claude Code natively, but that Claude Code might be running on AWS or on Modal or locally. It doesn't matter. You get to interact with it, send it on its way, disconnect, and you're all set. You have things like Manager Wait to compose other larger things, Manager Snapshot. It just is a big toolkit that allows you to make these higher level systems. There are many more commands. You can go online and see the rest yourself. So if we score this in terms of punk software, like, is this good punk software? I think so. I mean, that's why I made it this way. So is it individual? Yes. One of the things that's different about Manager is there's no service. We're not trying to sell you a SaaS thing. There's no remote database. Everything is local. It simply asks every time you run it, are there any things in AWS? Is there anything local? Okay, great. So you can control everything about this. It's easy to make plugins, change the settings. It's all just directly controlled by you. So it's fully decentralized, completely yours. It's MIT licensed. The point, I think, is relatively anti-monopolistic in that it's trying to commoditize AI models and compute providers. It's trying to make it so you're not locked into their sort of vertical ecosystems. And it has at least a little bit of a moral character in that, like, it's trying to directly empower you as an individual. Okay, second thing that we'll look at today is a plugin for Manager. This is called Manager Donate. It's very easy to make new plugins. This particular plugin we're making to make it easy to donate your extra tokens to science. So the problem that we're solving here is that you don't fully utilize your subscription. In theory, your subscription gives you I think it's about like a $100 subscription per month for Claude Code. If you max it out, gives you about $4,000 on the API. But you don't always max it out. But if you come to the end of the week and you haven't maxed it out, like, why not give those tokens to a scientist who would happily do some useful work? So that's what this allows us to do. And it's built on top of Manager, which makes it easy for the actual implementation. So Manager can run the tasks from the scientist in a sandbox for you, or in a local Docker container, so you don't need to worry about them running untrusted code. It also can understand the usage from your subscription, so you can make sure that it doesn't use tokens that you were actually going to use yourself. So scoring this on Punk software, how punk is this? I mean, it's fully individual. You can control exactly how much you want to donate, how much you don't want to donate, which causes you want to donate to, et cetera. It's fully decentralized. The idea is that scientists will be able to just post whatever research they want done. Your system will go off and pull that, compute it, send it back. It's completely open source, anti-monopolistic a little bit, I guess. I don't know how many monopolies there are that are doing open source distributed AI science. And moral, yeah, I mean, contributing to science, I think most of us probably feel is a good thing. So the third thing we're going to look at is the application that we're building on top of Manager that's more for regular people than for software engineers. So Minds is an application that's meant to be personal intelligence, sort of like a personal computer. The core idea is that you run the language model alongside the software that it creates. So instead of creating an application like in Replit and then deploying it, and you have a database, and you have production, and you have migrations, that's just a bunch of noise. That's a bunch of extra complexity that you don't need when you're trying to make a personal dashboard or a little script that runs every day. So the idea is to build on top of Manager, make it easy for people to run these things in a fully open source way that's completely under their control. So at its core, it's about running a little virtual machine, either on your computer or remotely. Inside of this machine, Manager coordinates the coding agents and uses them to make the different applications. These applications are whatever you want. You can have it go do one-off tasks. You can have it triage your inbox. You can have it rank science fiction short stories that it thinks you would like, whatever you want. But the point of Manager is to abstract across, where is this running? What compute provider, what AI provider is doing this thing, so that the thing is fully under your control. If you want to tell it to ask questions about Tiananmen Square, or you want to ask questions about cybersecurity, it'll flip between the models to make sure that both of those get answered. So if we think, okay, how punk is this? The reason that we made this is to make a sort of individualized way of making coding agents. So it's completely under your control, it's completely decentralized, it's completely open source, and it's meant to not lock you into a vertical system like Claude Code, Cowork, et cetera. So I think it'd be great to have you join the revolution, help us make punk software, make the whole stack open. We saw some examples, and if you want, feel free to get involved by looking at this QR code. If you want to donate your tokens to science, if you want people to give you tokens for doing your own science, if you want us to highlight the punk software that you've made, if you want to join our punk software hack nights, or join our Slack, or try out Minds or any of our products, please just email me. We'll happily connect and would love to build this stuff together.